My name's Bazchad and I'm a mixed media artist. This is just some of my art that I create from old magazines and old books, creating headdresses for my warriors, endangered species across the world. So rather than making a headdress today, I thought I'd try and give a little bit of a tutorial on how to make a sunflower out of soda cans, Coke cans, beer cans, any kind of can. Okay, so what you're going to need first to make a metal sunflower is approximately 3 cans. As I said before, they could be Coca-Cola cans or beer cans, doesn't really matter, but I seem to get through an awful lot of Diet Coke, me and my family. So let's start. Let's get first off the ring pull. Remember when you're doing this that it is a sharp material, and also that each element you can recycle, so keep them for a future project. Like that. So we take out the ring pull first, then taking a really nice sharp Stanley knife. Now this is the way I do it. Some other people might find better ways to do it, but this is the way I found, and it works really well. So if you've got any glasses, wear them. Eye protection, always useful. I tried cutting with gloves, but I was too clumsy, so I use my hands as they are. Not cut myself seriously yet, but there's always a first time. So get your can in your hand, hold it firmly, and what we want to do is go straight in at the top, push right down to get the full part of the blade in, then turning the can, just start to stab the knife down, turning the can as you go along, keeping to the edge and the rim of the can. Don't press too hard or you're going to flatten the material. Right. And when we're just getting close to the joining edge, this is where you have to be really careful, otherwise it'll split. So cut that till we're almost through it. See that? So now it's just about cut, ready to take that top off. For this, get yourself a sharp pair of scissors. Don't use your wife's or your husband's kitchen scissors, you'll get into trouble. And always try and keep them sharp. I've got several sharpeners, an electric one, a normal grinding one, and an actual millstone seems to work best, granite stone. So we're going to chop off this top part. There. Okay, so we've got the 2 parts. I'll put that aside for a moment. Alright. Now I like to cut in one of the clean edges where there's a bit of a line. Often you'll see where the instructions are, or the dietary ingredients. For Spartan, not good for everybody. Caffeine keeps you going. So we will cut straight down, so we want to do one big one all the way. You can see that. Okay. Now we twist it round, and we want to go in at an angle now, just at the side. Get a little nip in, and then I'm going to cut along the edge. Again, be very careful with your hands because this is virtually razor sharp. The reason I don't cut myself as much as you might do is that I once had a little job in a glazing company, and I used to handle glass quite a lot. We'll keep that other bit for later. Now, that's a nice clean edge on that side, but this one's a bit jaggy, so we have to turn it around, spread it out across your hand, and again with the scissors, what we're going to do is trim off that part there. Boom. Okay, so that's one cut. As I say, you probably need 3 in true Blue Peter spirit. I have 3 already cut. Now, if I just put this down here, what's going to happen? Oof. Quite satisfying that. Anyway, to get them flat, you possibly need the iron. Now again, when we do this, don't use your best iron. Get a cheap iron or you'll be in trouble. As you can see, the bottom of the iron looks like it will ruin it. So don't use your best iron. Anyway, I think I've got some flat ones somewhere. Yep, I've got some flat ones. Hang on a minute. Let's put these aside. So not on this plane. Alright, so 1, 2, 3 of them. Still got a bit of curve, but you can't really get it out. If you do, it'll be very hot, and also when you start using it on the opposite side, the ink comes off and makes a hell of a mess. So, next stage with this is we need to create a template for the sunflower. To make the template, get yourself a piece of card, an old card. Could be anything from a cereal box, or in this case, an old piece of mounting card. Now, depending on the size of the sunflower you want to make, will govern the size of the petals. So I'm going to try and make something that would fit within an A4 squared frame. So I'm looking at a petal size of approximately 7 centimeters, maybe 8, dependent on the amount of petals. Now, looking at a sunflower picture, there's 2 layers to it, so I probably do that the one on the far side will make as a 9, and then I will go down to the second ones to be 7. Okay, so what I do first for this is I'll draw a line, just get that in place, up to 9 centimeters. And then I will do a shape. So we want it like an elliptical shape. Now I'm doing this by eye. Doesn't have to be rigid. You can see that, hopefully you can. And then we'll draw another one that will be 7 centimeters, and just slightly thinner these ones for the inner petals, but probably on that one just got out a tad. You don't have to be too accurate. Okay, so then get your Stanley knife again, make sure it's nice and sharp, and we'll start to cut it out. Pressing nice and hard, curving it as we go. Again, watch your fingers, please. There. Not tough enough, so we'll have to cut into it again. There, that's it. So that's your outer leaf. So always best to put out on there. Then we've got inner ones. So again, pressing hard, do the shape. There. Put that aside, and we'll put that in. Okay. So now we want to get our can, and we'll start off with the outer one. And I'm going to cut approximately 20 outer ones. So that might take a time, so I'll try and speed it up for you. Okay, so we've cut out our outer feather and we've cut out our inner feather, and here's the lovelies. Okay, so when I'm doing feathers, I put in a lot of texture, the veins, the structure of a feather, which varies from different types of feather. Now, a petal and leaves also have veins and structure to them. So I'm going to add a little bit to the petals. I'm just going to use a little broad stroke across them. Now, you don't want to press too hard with this. Now, you can use either an old biro, or you can use a Braddle, or you can buy special tools for embossing like this one. So what I want to do is get one of the bigger feathers. I'll just put the smaller feathers out of the way. Feathers, what am I saying, feathers? Petals. That's what I'm doing. Just push those off to the side. So we're just going to go nice strokes like this. Not pressing too hard. Just to create some lines. Hopefully you'll be able to see them. With doing that, the petal starts to curve. Now, as I said before, if you press too hard, they'll become really, really circular and tight. So if you press it out again, as though you're running it through your fingers, you can actually start to sculpt them. Put that aside. Oops. Fiddly little things. Now I've got about 24 of these to do. I can either show you every one, or come back in a few minutes and I would have done these and I would have done the smaller one. Okay, so we've cut out all the petals and we've now scribed them. So we've got some nice little veins going in them on the big and the small ones. So let's push these aside and we'll just look at placement. So we'll use the bottom of the can, place that there. Start off with the 12 o'clock. 1/2 and the quarters. Just round them in. It's up to you how many petals you want to have in, depending on what flower you want to create. So we're creating the form of a sunflower. Hopefully you can see it coming together. Hopefully we've got more petals, if not more petals than we need. It's always better to have more than what we need. So we'll get some of the smaller ones. What you can do is, if you see, we've got the colours on the side from Copperberg and Lilt. You can actually place them, so you can use the colours to create and add extra colour to your flower. So it could be multicoloured, or if you wanted to find a yellow can, that would add to the sunflower effect. And I like working with just the pure metal side of things. So this is only for placement at the moment, to see how it's looking. So we want to drop some of these in the gaps. They won't perfectly go in them, but you can see how it's coming together. I won't speed it up. Find another one in here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. You can see that. Can't tip it up or it's all going to fall. Right, next part of this is that we need to start gluing. Now we can either glue to one of these, which you probably will do, and I'll show you the next stage. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're taking our base and we're going to just trim off the edges. It depends how neat you cut it off at the beginning. This is pretty good. Right. I like to use an multi-purpose glue, all-purpose. Bazchad is very good. And what we're going to do is start off with putting a blob on the 12 o'clock. Choose the petal that you want. Give it a curve. We've got to give it a slight curve. Oops. And then put a blob on the other side. And then we're going to put it in place. And hold it in place. Now, drying time for each one could be up to a minute, but I'm just counting down 30 seconds and see if it'll hold. Normally does, but So we're going to place them around the same in the 12 o'clock position, the half past and then the quarters, and then fill in as we go around. Let's speed it up. So there we have all the petals in place. Don't tip it too far, it will fall off. So now we want to look at the centre part. So I'll put this aside, and we're going to use one of the other bases of a can. And firstly I'm going to trim it just to get the sharpest edge off. There's a ridge inside and you can use this as a guide to go around it. Again, be very careful with your fingers. Sharp. Cut that right round. Don't worry about it being too elliptical. If you do get any little bits like this, put them back in the recycling bin, club together, either in a paper bag so that the bin men don't get their fingers cut. Okay, so the inside of a sunflower is like seeded, so we want to create that. So fortunately this has a lovely curve in the inside of it. So what we're going to do is first, what I use is a Braddle. You could use an old nail, something a bit sharper, but what we're going to do is just indent it as we go round. Again, I'll stress to be very careful as I'll show you. So what we want to do is just start jabbing it to create indentations. Oh, word of warning, old workbench, not kitchen table, not unless it's an old kitchen table. So we want to get an even amount of indentation going all the way around. And we'll continue that all the way around. Just about see how it's creating that impression on there. And we'll continue that all the way around, and then we'll also do the inside. Start in the middle. So the harder you hit it, the more impression it's going to have, but if you do it too much, you're going to go straight through it. So practice, experience makes perfect. So you go round and round. Put that aside because I created one earlier, and you can see how it's got that lovely hammered effect. It's quite tactile. That's alright. So just give it a little bit of a press down to even out the edges. And then this will form the centre of our sunflower. So let's see. True form, the sun's come out and we've got a lovely glare coming in. So we're going to pop that just on the middle, see what it's like. Looks pretty good. So let's get some glue. Use a generous amount of glue on the inside, right around the edges, not too thick. Dabbing it along. Then we'll put some more on the inside of it to make it glue. Okay, so on this side, get it on the edge. Right around the sides. We haven't bent the pedals back yet. So this started to go off quite quickly, this glue. So to turn it over, position it in the middle, and then gently press down. Okay. All stuck. It looks. Now you can either put this in a frame. We could try putting a stem on it. Could add a nice background to it. We'll just leave it on a plain black.